Hello and welcome back to the Sports Countdown podcast with myself, Ryan Murray, and the unflappable Peter Lynch. Today, Pete, the World Cup is
hmm
still in full swing. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, been watching pretty much every game basically when I can. I don't know, people say it's been the best World Cup group stage there ever has been, but I'm not sure I'm entirely convinced about that, but I'm definitely enjoying every single game for sure.
Yeah, no, exactly. But Pete, with the World Cup going on and all the drama that's been, put around it, there is, a few things that have been going on the side and the background that people don't know about.
hmm
For example, my lovely local team, Wigan, getting Kolo Toure as their manager.
Yeah, big
You
one.
know, that goes under the radar. He's brought in his whole team, a 3.5 year deal. I just want to put that right in at the top of the agenda because it's important and we'll get onto it another time.
Absolutely.
But Pete, what we're here for really is the man, the myth, the legend, Lionel Messi.
hmm
1,000 games, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And he's done it in style, really, for the whole way through it. So, but the thing is, before we get into that, we're going to do
hmm
a nice little shout out to good friends of the pod, Freelance Football Ops. They're great supporters. They've always helped us out here, and they're great place for sourcing paid football media roles. So, if you're looking to get into the industry, or perhaps get some more experience there and make some good contacts, or even just looking for a little bit of a side hustle, make sure you give these guys a shout out on Twitter or LinkedIn. As always, great place, great place.
Perfect.
So, Pete,
hmm
the World Cup so far. Talk to me about it. What have you loved most? And then we'll get into the whole thing with Messi. We can't just ignore it.
Yeah, we can't. Good question that. I've loved watching Mbappe, really. It's probably one of the main ones. He's just banged in two more against Poland in the last 16. So, I mean, he's already right up there with the best players in the world, if not the best. So, I mean, great to watch him do what he does. Um, Germany being knocked out as well, another one. Great to see, to be honest. You like to see these upsets. Belgium again not living up to expectation, getting knocked out in the group stages again, and then you know they see the likes of the minnows like Australia, Japan, South Korea, going through. It's really amazing to see. So yeah, it's been a good watch, and I've enjoyed it so far.
And I think, we talk about it, you say it maybe isn't the best World Cup group stages, but
Mhm.
it will certainly be the last one we see of this kind.
Yeah.
Now, the final time they want to bring in more teams and do a different format. None of the games acting out together at the end, which is going to be a shame.
hmm
We just would look at that group E, the Germany group with Costa Rica, Spain, and Japan. There was a time when I looked at the score and Costa Rica and Japan were both going through.
Yeah. hmm
And it's mad to think that we'll probably never see that again at a World Cup, that sort of drama, which is a real shame. But you came out with some really good points here. Like the Morocco top in the group was crazy. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone saw that coming, but I think we should probably start giving these teams more respect.
I
Are
didn't see
you
them.
maybe?
Well, I didn't see them top in the group to be fair, but I did pick them as a dark horse. If anybody cares, we won't mention the other dark horses, but we'll mention Morocco. Doing me well.
Well, Well, there's always one there. If you keep
Yeah.
choosing, one of them is going to win eventually.
Very.
But no, huge, huge, huge team, and I think it's actually unfair. I think the lack of respect that these teams have been getting recently. I think for example, Australia obviously they went out yesterday,
Yeah.
but they have a team of players, who don't play in the top divisions. A lot of them play in the SPFL,
hmm
and they held their own and they looked comfortable and they also played good football. It wasn't scrappy, it wasn't lucky. They dominated the whole way through. But Pete, there's just one final thing. I know you've not been a big fan of him since he left Liverpool all that time ago.
hmm
Luis Suarez. The revenge for Ghana, time wasting 2-0 down to make sure that Uruguay don't go through. Are
Yeah.
you here for it? Are you here for that?
100%. Yeah. I mean, Suarez and the rest of them, to be honest, maybe not all of them, but I mean, the way they acted in that game against Ghana whenever they gave away a penalty, and it was definitely a penalty, and then they tried to do all they can to disrupt it. I mean, Darwin Núñez, there's a circle of Ghana players around the penalty spot, and Darwin Núñez still tries to scuff it up. Like, I'm a Liverpool fan, but I mean, that is just honestly insane to think that you can get away with that. And yeah, he got booked straight away. They obviously missed the penalty then, which was unfortunate. But I mean, the play acting and Cavani even booted the VAR screen, I believe, after the match. So I think they deserve, everything that went their way, to be honest. But it was a shame to
Yeah.
see Ghana go out. But I mean, yeah, I'm happy enough that Uruguay didn't make it, even though they were a dark horse of mine. But I'll let that one slide.
Well, I think it was a tournament too far for some of their players.
Yeah,
It just
fair.
wasn't the same team that we'd seen in previous ones.
Hmm.
But I mean, for me, that's the highlight. It's up there. I mean, I've got a pretty bad way of looking at it with the World Cup. I love to see people crying as their team has just gone out. I think it's by far the best thing when the camera pans on them.
Yeah, yeah.
And
No
the
mercy from the
history.
cameraman.
No, no, I think they've been a bit lenient in these ones in this World Cup
Yeah,
in comparison to previous ones. But yeah, it's been a great group stages, and I'm all here for the pittiness of it, and
yeah.
should I say pettiness? But look, let's get into it, mate. Lionel
Hmm.
Messi had his thousandth game yesterday.
Yeah.
Came in with the goods as always, and it's been what he's done for his entire career. But let's talk about him at the World Cup because it's his last World Cup,
Hmm.
and he's certainly playing like it. What have your thoughts been?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is here is that everybody who, who's not an Argentina fan or who doesn't have a team to support in the World Cup, they still want to see him win it. Even some of his rivals, I'm sure, even some of the teams that have gone out, they're definitely rooting for Messi. They want him to lift that trophy. Obviously, so many honors for club, like the likes of Barcelona, PSG already, but literally just Copa America for Argentina, and that was last year. And
Yeah.
that's all he has to his name, which is crazy. Runners up, obviously, in the World Cup 2014 against Germany. Runners up in the Copa America three times, I think. But I think this is the one that he deserves to win with the career that he's had this time around. He got his first knockout goal, which was quite
Mhm.
surprising. I wasn't fully aware of that, but I mean now he has 9 World Cup goals now. And it seems to just be that he does it whenever his country need him. Just in that Australia game, they were looking for a breakthrough, and whenever that ball came to his feet, he was never going to miss. He just does what he does best and slots it home. So it was great to see. And I think yeah, he's been obviously key to guiding them through to this stage. He's got 3 goals now. I think it was level with the top scorers, but now Mbappe obviously has five.
Yeah.
I think, which is crazy. He's kind of taken over from Messi at this stage, so that's great to see. That's another topic entirely, but yeah, I'm happy for Leo, and yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one because me personally, I don't think Argentina will win it, but I think Leo deserves it.
Yeah, I think you echo most footballing fans. I think it's something about it which I haven't appreciated enough because he's never really played well, he hasn't played in the British leagues, and you usually
Yeah.
watch him for the big Spanish games of the World
Hmm.
Cup and the Euro, sorry, the Copa
Yeah, yeah.
America, and but like when he gets the ball, like yesterday, for example, when he got the ball, the whole stadium was expecting something to happen. Even in his own half, everyone was
Hmm.
standing up out their seat, and there was just like a feeling that something was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have made sense if he didn't score. I think that's the kind of level we're talking about here, where if he didn't score, we would be shocked rather than
Mhm.
scoring.
Yeah.
And it seems like all these teams you're saying that go out, these fans now, people still in Qatar are just actually there to see Leo Messi one final time,
Hmm.
and really is
100%.
the closing of a chapter. Um, but yeah, unbelievable so far this World Cup. He's the way he's been making space. He's done it his entire career, so it sounds stupid that we're saying this now,
Yeah.
but one stat I did want to bring out was actually that Ronaldo scored first person to score 5 goals in 5 different World Cups,
Hmm.
whereas Messi was the first person to get 5 assists at 5 different World Cups,
Nice.
which I thought it was a nice difference between the two arguably best players there,
Hmm.
um, and it kind of highlights I think the versatility of Messi considering we know he gets goals as well.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they're still going to be compared, but I think Messi's got more goals now than Ronaldo in the World Cup. More than Maradona as well. Obviously, another Argentina legend. He's just behind Gabriel Batistuta, so obviously he deserves huge credit for what he did. But yeah, it's ridiculous. And also, just to back up your stats, I just read there from FIFA, he's got 8 World Cup Man of the Match trophies, so that's obviously more than anyone else. So it's not really a shock given what he's done at the World Cup. So yeah, just great to see him doing well because obviously. I mean, for PSG last season, he wasn't having a great time, wasn't hitting the form that we saw what he can do. And then this season, I've been checking in on PSG, and he's just been on fire. He's been one of
Yeah.
their best players, obviously, and it's come for the perfect time for Argentina, and he's showing it in the World Cup.
Yeah, he's absolutely unbelievable at the moment. Yeah, I thought, previously from last season and how poorly he did for his standards that we
Yeah.
were finally come to the end. There's the whole saga with Ronaldo at the moment that we haven't even spoke about. Being on the bench, leaving the club,
Hmm.
what's next? And I thought the same was for Messi, that we'd never see, that player that just changes the game
Yeah.
again on a consistent basis. But I think that you beat me to it, but that I think they are going to win the World Cup. I've
Yeah.
decided. I think it's just more, like it's cup football, isn't it? It's completely different, and a lot of it is ran on emotion and feeling and
Hmm.
skill. Skill only plays half a factor in it, and they have that in abundance. And so I'm going to go with them winning the World Cup. That's it. Messi retires straight afterwards on the day. That's it.
Okay.
Done.
Nah, I just think it's most people's hearts over their heads, to be honest, with this one. Even they're up against the Netherlands next. And I was looking into that again. He's played the Netherlands twice before Messi, and he's won both. But
Mm,
now the Netherlands are unbeaten in 19 games under Louis van Gaal. Obviously extremely experienced. It's his third spell in charge of the country. And he's the oldest manager at the World Cup, and Lionel
wow.
Scaloni is actually the youngest, the Argentina manager. So it's that whole youth against experience battle again. And I just think it's going to be a really tough test for Argentina. I don't think that one's going to be a walkover. I think a lot of people just assume that they're going to get very, very far, but that'll be their toughest test yet for sure. And I mean, against Australia, it wasn't as if they were setting the game alight. It took, as
Mhm.
we say, a moment of magic for Messi to actually break the deadlock. So, what if Messi has a bad game, or what if they're just not switched on at the back? I think their defense, I'm not entirely convinced at, to be honest. So yeah, it's good that you can say that you think they're going to win it, and I don't think they're going to win it. So that it's going to be an interesting one, obviously. And I've even looked ahead, and I do think they get Brazil in the semis if they actually make it to that stage.
Nice.
So that's another platform for them to face whenever they face it if they do. So it's going to be an interesting one for sure.
I mean, so then who are you going for? Who is it for the World Cup now? Looking back, if it's not Lionel Messi, as Argentina, who is it?
I mean, I did say Brazil from the very, very start long ago, which is what's that look for?
This is the bookie's favorite classic.
Yeah, I know, but I just can't see past them. And now though they've had a few injuries, I think Neymar's struggling. Jesus is out,
Mm,
and I mean they haven't been really all that convincing, to be honest. They've only scored a couple of goals, maybe two, maybe, which is insane, or three, maybe. Richarlison scored a double, yeah. And then Casemiro scored, so yeah, three at this stage. Um, but I think they've got loads of talent there. Obviously, you have to mention France in this whole battle.
yeah.
That's the other side of the stage, France, England, Portugal, Spain as well. But for me, yeah, Mbappe is going to be pretty tricky to stop down that left wing. Just watching Pochettino there believes he can improve and he can do more. Maurizio Pochettino was saying that. Obviously, he managed him at PSG,
Mhm.
and he thinks he can get into the game more often, and have a greater impact, which is absolutely terrifying if that actually does happen. But just whenever he gets the ball, it's like Messi. Fans just get up, they know something's gonna happen, and he just needs a second, and it's in the back of the net before you know it. So they'll be tough to stop, but I'm gonna stick with my guns and say Brazil.
It's disgusting, disgusting. But I think, actually, I was thinking today when we saw Mbappe just continue to what he's doing, and I think you said he's got 5 goals already. I
Hmm.
think Miroslav Klose should be scared of his old-time World
Yeah,
Cup
it's a good
goals
point.
because we're not even halfway through. We're only just halfway through this one, should I say, for them. And he's going to get more. He's going to get
Yeah.
more, and you can probably see France going all the way again to lose against Argentina somewhere down the line.
I
Um,
mean, just on
but
that, like getting more, I think it's going to be a bit unfair because in a couple of years' time, you said it, there's going to be 48 teams. It's going to be Mbappe against like uh Northern Ireland,
Scotland.
Scotland. Yeah, yeah. No offense to the boys, but I mean, Mbappe running up against, well, Connor Bradley, I'll give him a good game for Northern Ireland. Scotland will be Nathan Patterson, will it, and right back. So
Yeah.
good players, and yeah, but maybe not when it comes to playing against Mbappe. So that'll be, I mean, it's a bit unfair and closer because Mbappe could score double figures at the next one, but it is what it is.
No, but I think you sum it up and you sum up the mood kind of perfectly in the sense that this is pretty much the last World Cup. But it is the last World Cup for Messi. It's the last World Cup for Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Last World Cup for Suarez, for Cavani, for all these players we mentioned. Probably Casemiro as well. Like there's some huge players that are not just the ones that they're good. They've been around for a long time and
Yeah.
have extended their careers longer than most people. So you can think back to them. You can always think back to a moment with all of these players. And now it's coming to a close, and the World Cup is adapting.
Hmm.
So same as the Champions League is adapting as well. Everything football's going to be changing soon,
Yeah.
and this is probably the last time we're going to get I think this sort of excitement. Even if I have my Christmas tree up in the corner while I'm watching the World Cup, which is filthy.
That's disgusting.
Um, it's not right.
And it's the start of
Um,
December as well, which is another matter. Should be
we'll
up on
save that for
Christmas
the other
Eve,
podcasts.
up on Christmas Eve, and down on Christmas and Boxing Day.
Only up for the World Cup, but
Fair enough.
but yeah, I think it's great. But I think the final question from me, Pete, to you
Hmm.
before you graciously give me the countdown for this week is to
Yeah.
ask: Is he the best player ever? Is he better than the Maradona? Is he better than Pele? Um, which is such kind of sad news at the moment with Pele
Yeah.
in hospital.
And George Best, obviously in that category as well. A few pundits failed to recognise that. Classic English arrogance there from you. But I mean, obviously we didn't see those guys in their prime. To be honest, and they didn't have all these stats behind them. All the power of expected goals and chances created and all that nonsense. But for me, yeah, absolutely, 100%. He's the best player I've ever seen playing. I'd really love to see him play. I've actually never seen him play live. So that would be class to see before he actually does retire. I've been lucky enough to see the likes of Ronaldo. I
Yeah.
remember watching Ozil and Cruz in the Euros for Germany and against Northern Ireland, and it was just honestly, I was just in awe. Just couldn't stop watching the pair of them. They were unbelievable. Um, and Stevie Davis, of course, as well, was giving them a game. Um, but yeah, for me, Messi, yeah, there's no one better to be honest. As I said, having a great season at PSG, but yeah, everyone thinks back to that Barcelona career. Um, he started out, he had Ronaldinho and Eto'o alongside him. They left, then came Pedro and David Villa. They left, and then it was Neymar and Suarez, and Messi was the main man. Just he stayed right up until he was basically couldn't stay any longer. And maybe one day he does go back to Barcelona. That would be great to see. I think he's 35 now, but they'd obviously take him back in a heartbeat. So that would be great to see. But yeah, for me, he's definitely right up there. He's the very best.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you said it perfectly about the loyalty there attached to it. I was reminded that actually the PK and Cesc Fabregas are all in the youth team together, and both
Hmm.
PK and Cesc, left as soon as they got big, but Messi stayed and obviously didn't want to leave. But now, I mean, I think he gets minus points for moving to PSG. I
Yeah,
think that's
sure.
knocks him down a notch or two in my estimations.
Yeah,
But as long as he doesn't go to play in the MLS or the Saudi leagues
that's the worry.
after this.
That's because I'm seeing rumors. I know it's just rumors, but I mean, Inter Miami have been linked, which is a bit of a worry. But I mean, surely he has enough money at this stage.
I mean, it would be good to see him. I think he supports Old Boys, Old
Yeah,
Boys. I think
yeah,
so. Maybe the likes of like Carlos Tevez kind of done. Seems to
hmm
be quite a popular thing. So
yeah,
so we'll see. But I think you have the pleasure of introducing this week's countdown, and I have the pleasure of
absolutely.
going through.
Yeah, yeah. So this, well, as always, we do a top three countdown in this podcast, which is of course named the Sports Countdown Podcast. So, we focus on a topic and look for a countdown. This week we're obviously talking about Messi, the man himself, and we're asking Ryan, for his top three best Lionel Messi goals. So I'd imagine it's based on club or country. I'm not gonna rule out any Argentina goals, but yeah, yeah. There's obviously, I mean, his stats here at 789 goals he scored. So it'll take you a while to look through all of them, but yeah, you've got the pleasure of picking your best three.
Yeah, it's been tough. There was a lot of goals, and I have to admit, I've looked through every single goal. I've done my research. I've put notes down in a book, and I've slowly whittled them down. But I thought, considering how much of an effect he's had for me specifically in the Champions League, I thought
Mm-hmm.
it was important to keep something from the Champions League. Also important to take one of the goals from his influence in Argentina.
Yeah.
Um, and then finally, the one just him and for Barcelona, I thought I'd go with that. And so I
Mm-hmm.
thought I'd break it down like that. Would be the fairest way to do it. So
Yeah.
number three for me,
Hear it.
okay, a young Lionel Messi. He has his breakout sort of season. 2007. He's playing for Argentina. He's got the worst haircut in the world. Okay, playing against Mexico. He's on the edge of the box. Ball comes to him on the right hand side. He takes a touch and he chips it over the keeper over into the left hand side of the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't seen this goal, it's just a beautiful goal. It's all technique, it's all finish. And what makes it better is all the footage I can find on it is screaming American commentators losing their minds in the most American way
Yeah.
possible, going crazy, and he just plays it off like it's nothing. Like even at
Mhm.
that age, you'd think if you scored for your country and a goal like that specifically, you'd lose your mind. But he was just kind of doing the Alan Shearer kind of
Yeah, yeah.
put the
Hand up.
hand up kind
Yeah.
of thing. So it was yeah, it was beautiful. So that for me is number three. Coming in from number two, I think you'll know this one off by heart probably. This goal specifically ended for me the career of Jerome Boateng. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I know it already, of course.
it's Champions League 2015. It also sparked memes that are probably up there for the upper echelon of
Mhm.
greatness. He gets the ball, he does a little chop, a little Suarez sort of chop.
Yeah.
Sends Bo. I don't know what Boateng's doing. He's off for a chippy. Like his legs are broken, and just to top it all off, Manuel Neuer, who before the game was not giving him grief, but if I read the quote specifically that Neuer said before the game, it said,
Hmm.
"It's crucial to show authority when we meet each other on the pitch and to show him who is boss." I did the same in the World Cup final, and this worked out very well.
Just asking for trouble.
Just asking for Messi to do nothing for 77 minutes and then
Just
break Boateng's legs and
yeah,
then chip it over arguably the best goalkeeper at the time.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
And to top that off, he actually also scored another goal, I think 2 minutes later against Neuer,
Mm,
to pretty much end Bayern Munich hopes of the Champions League that year.
yeah.
And it still for me goes down as arguably one of the best goals ever.
Hmm.
And the fact that you ended a career and started the downfall of another one is an added bonus, I think,
Yeah,
for Messi,
for
even if
sure.
he is humble.
Yeah.
Um, and look for number one, this one deserves a lot of discussion around it. I think we'll probably know which one I'm going to choose. Uh, it's his goal against Getafe
Mm,
back in the day, 2007. I think again, he's a good year for goals. 2007 for Messi. You might remember it as the side-by-side comparison of a Maradona goal.
mm-hmm.
He gets the ball in his own half, he nutmegs a player, and then he just goes on a run. He goes past one player, past another slalom inside and out. I think he
Yeah.
goes past 5 players in total, and then around the goalkeeper, so 6 players if you want to say it like that. And then the best part of this is that he can't just pass the ball into the net because there's a player running back on the line
Mm-hmm.
to do it. So he subconsciously probably just dinks it over the player. So the player slides underneath the ball as it goes into the net. For me, it's the best goal that's ever happened in the
Yeah.
world.
Mm-hmm.
It's what really I think like lifted Messi up onto the stage. And yeah, it's a complete comparison of the Maradona goal, which I think like symbolized quite a lot. The rebirth of a country in terms of like a footballing star.
Yeah.
And I think we look back on that goal specifically. It's the kind of one where it's individual excellence. It's not a team goal. It's not anything
Mm-hmm.
else. He just showed as a child, I think 22 or something like that. So maybe not a child, that he was here to make a real difference.
Yeah.
He was small. He wasn't that strong. He looked quite scrawny. Yet he just did this to professional footballers.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, best goal ever, ever
Yeah.
beats any goal I've ever seen. So that's my top three. Is there any
Mm.
for you that top into mind that maybe I should have put in? Any angry fans, maybe?
I mean, as we said, 789 goals, so it's not easy to pick three for Messi
No.
because I don't think he scored a bad goal, to be honest.
No.
But I mean, yeah, Liverpool fan, obviously a tough one for me, but I remember he scored a free kick in the Champions League
Yeah.
not so long ago. As soon as there's like
Good for you.
managers know they would have told players don't be giving any free kicks away because Messi's there and somebody did it still. Probably James
Mm.
Milner. Shout out to Milner, but that's a bit harsh, but it was probably him. Gave it away. I've no idea who it was, but yeah, he just absolutely buried it top corner. Something tells me that Messi's first ever goal was he was chipped through and he volleyed it sort of kind of back to goal sort of thing. He was well, maybe not back to goal, but he hit side foot volley over the keeper. The keeper was coming out. So another one of his lobs basically. Um, but I mean those goals you mentioned, yeah, ridiculous. And then I think maybe one against Athletic Bilbao where he brought it
Mhm.
down, just on the touchline and just took it past three or four players, yeah, and then just drove it home. But yeah, obviously
Yeah.
far too many to choose from. I'm not going to argue with you there. Any of the goals that involved the nutmeg, which were pretty special because that was
Awesome.
yeah it's his speciality. I think I hate to go on in Milner again, but I think he did nutmeg Milner for Man City one time in the Champions League. Um, but I mean, yeah, just that old saying he could nutmeg a mermaid with a beach ball in a phone box. I think he's capable of that. It's just great to see because it just slips through players' legs and it's just beautiful
Yeah.
to watch. So I mean, you said it there. Just last thing on him that in the Champions League and stuff, you look out for the games. I honestly, I might have said this before, but there's been times when Barcelona were playing, and if Messi was injured, I wasn't gonna watch it,
Yeah.
because it was only to watch Messi. Genuinely, that was the thing. So I mean, that's the kind of effect a player like that has.
Yeah, unbelievable. And I think after this podcast, we need to make a promise here, Pete, that pod vlog in Paris Saint-Germain,
Yeah,
go to PSG ground to see Messi before he retires and calls it a day. Got to
will
see him
do.
live.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
to see him live. It's a promise. Pete doesn't know yet. It's a promise though that we're gonna go see him live, and we'll let you know if he's just as good as you thought. But I think in the meantime, thank you very much for listening. I hope
Hmm.
that you now Google Lionel Messi best goals and watch the crazy YouTube videos with the worst soundtrack ever um, attached to it, and the crazy thumbnails attached to you should Google and have a look, or YouTube, sorry, Lionel Messi goals, and see the crazy thumbnails of him like
Yeah,
shooting a goal past 20 people in a wall. It's
yeah.
it's it's madness, right? Everything attached to it is over the top, but when you get into it, his goals are incredible, and you can
Hmm.
just relax to it. It's
Yeah,
it's meditation, I think, really. So
yeah, that's beautifully
thank you
put.
very
That's
much,
a good way
Lionel
to spend
Messi.
some time. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, here's hoping he does go far in this World Cup. As it, yeah, it probably will be his last one. He's 35 at the minute, I think. So, yeah, let's not. I'm not ruling it out, but I just can't see it. But if he keeps on going the way he's going, then yeah, they've got a
Yeah,
chance.
some boy, some boy. So
Lovely.
let's leave it with
Beautiful.
that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So cheers for that, Ryan. Love
Thank you.
all the research well in. And yeah, thanks to everybody for listening and watching. We really appreciate it. Keep enjoying the World Cup. Keep enjoying Messi. He's not going to be here forever. I think it's that old debate, just enjoy him while he's here. Him, Ronaldo, Bobby Firmino. Just enjoy those three guys while they're playing. Okay, it is what it is. So yeah, I'll
Maybe
leave you
Jason
on
Cummings as well.
that. Come dog. Yeah.
Uh,
Beautiful. Right, yeah, we'll be back. Yeah, we'll be back with more. If Messi wins it, we'll definitely do something on that. But I mean, yeah, we'll be back with plenty of content as soon as possible. So thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Pete.
Cheers, boy.